Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So, I was going back on my channel for the first time in like 6 months, and I watched some of my old videos, and I just realized like how much I've talked about how I didn't have any friends in high school, and like how school for me was super miserable. And I also was reading some comments, and I saw some people who were saying like, it's okay, you can get through this, and I thought to myself like, well, I'm not going through anything. And I guess like I just realized how much people don't know about my recent life and how I've improved from that. So, this video is going to be a sequel to the Reclusive Minecraft Kid about how I became not the Reclusive Minecraft Kid. However, before I get to that part of the story, I'll have to go back to where everything started. So, as I've said before, I didn't really have a whole lot of friends in high school, and I didn't enjoy my life. And I remember one night I was on my phone on YouTube, and I was scrolling through some random music, and this artist came up in my recommended. His name was NF, and I found one of his songs was called Outcast. And it was this rap song basically talking about how he felt alone and how he was different from other people, but it was okay that he was the outcast because being different made him unique. I started listening to that song and the rest of his music like all the time. I remember like every day when I would go to the cafeteria and sit alone, always I would play Outcast by NF. After playing it so much, I pretty much could remember the lyrics whenever I wanted to, and they would kind of comfort me. Now, we're going to fast forward a little bit. So, I got to college, and I just really wanted a new life. I wanted to reinvent myself in college, and I didn't want to be the Reclusive Minecraft Kid again. So, I remember hearing about this like campus event. You know, in my normal thought process, I would have never dreamed of going to that. I never went to any school events. But because I just wanted a new beginning, I finally decided that I was just going to walk out there and maybe I would be able to talk to someone. I walked out there and I ran into someone, started talking to him, and we pretty much became friends after that. I remember we were like sitting on a picnic table outside and we were talking, and then like more people started joining the table, and we ended up with a group of 5 people, and I started talking to them, and it was amazing. It was like I'd never had that experience before. What was really shocking about that is that I actually felt pretty comfortable at that table. So that became my first group of friends in college. While I was trying really hard to change my reclusive Minecraft self into being a little bit more social, I still had a tendency to not want to go to any school events if anyone mentioned them. Somebody might say like, hey, there's an event like on this day, and then I'd say like, oh, do I have to participate in that? About a week into the semester, I was talking to one of my new friends, and she told me that there was a theater audition party, and she wanted to know if I would want to go to the party with her. And normally, of course, I would have said no to such a request, and the only reason I did not say no to that was because I totally had a crush on her. So I went to the party with my crush, and it would have been a fun party, but I was pretty much just being awkward the whole time, and I just sat in a corner for most of it. I did talk to some people, and they seemed pretty nice, and I had some people invite me to the audition that was on the following day. Now, the requirement to be in the play was to have a memorized monologue in a British accent, and that was to be delivered on the day following the party. So we were walking back to the school, and my crush told me that she was going to audition on the following day, and she asked if I was going to audition. And I was really nervous, and I wanted to impress her, so I said that I would want to audition, but I didn't have a monologue prepared. And since the audition was the next day, there wasn't going to be enough time for me to memorize something. And basically she told me like, hey, don't worry about it, like, I'm just doing a song as my audition, like, maybe you can just use something that you have memorized already. And I started thinking to myself like, okay, what do I have memorized? And then that's when I thought of the song Outcast by NF that I had unintentionally memorized because I listened to it every day before I sat alone at lunch. And I realized that was going to be my audition. Now, mind you, going in, even though I had my audition planned, I still did not think that I would get a part because I assumed that the people who were going to audition for this play were experienced actors and would just be way better than me. So I walk in, and I'm expecting to see like 70 people there or something, and there's 12. And I thought like, oh no, like what if I actually get a part? That would be terrifying. But I thought like, no, there's no way, right? These auditions are just a formality. They're only going to accept people who are theater majors. I'll just go in, show them my bad audition. It'll be fine. So my crush and I were sitting there filling out this form, and 2 other people ended up sitting with us. So they ended up asking me what my audition was. So I just stood up and was like, okay, here's my audition. And I proceeded to state the lines of this rap song and I didn't move at all. So after seeing what I was gonna do for my audition, this guy comes up to me. His name's Caleb. He says like, "Hey, listen, your audition kinda sucks. Like, you're not putting any emotion into what you're saying. Like, that's not gonna work for an audition." So I asked, what should I do to add more emotion to it? Like, how do I act out this song? Like, it's a song, it's not meant to be acted out. So he said, like, okay, how about this? So the lyrics start out, "Woke up in a cell, where am I at?" So he said, like, what if you were to lay down on the stage and then right when you say those lyrics, like, get up like you just woke up? Normally I would have just said, like, absolutely no way I'm gonna lay down on the stage. I actually thought, like, that's a pretty funny idea. So, we move on to the next lines after that, and he comes up with a few motions for me. At that point, I get called in to the room. I hadn't really been, like, worried about my audition being good or anything because, like, nobody was going to see it except for the theater director. And I thought, like, maybe he would hate me for having a bad audition or whatever, but nobody else would have to see it, so it was fine. But for some reason, both me and my crush got called into the audition room at the same time. She did her audition, and I was next, and she was still sitting there. So at that point, I started freaking out, and suddenly I just really wanted to have a good audition. So I walk into the spotlight, and I'm just freaking out. So I turn to the director nervously, just kind of trying to buy myself some time. "Hey, so my monologue, right? It's not really a monologue. It's like a rap. I just thought okay, just stop. That's fine. Just go ahead when you're ready." Oh, okay. Not knowing what else to do, I just lay down on the floor just in the middle of the spotlight, and I close my eyes. I'm just laying there, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what have I just done? She's watching me right now, and I'm gonna look like a complete idiot. Okay, I have to do this audition. It'll be bad, but I just need to try my best. So I take a deep breath, like, I was gonna just get up after I took that breath, but then I just freaked out again. I was like, okay, no, I need another deep breath. So at that point, I've been laying on this stage for 10 seconds with my eyes closed, doing nothing. And there's the director, like, he's just looking at me like, what is going on here? Like, this awkward kid just walks on the stage, like, doesn't even know, like, what his monologue is about, and then lays down on the stage and, like, falls asleep or something. Like, what's going on? I have to get up and do something, or else he's gonna ask what I'm doing. I'm just so nervous. I just shoot up, like, "Woke up in a cell, where am I at?" And, like, I'm waking up, and then I just start freaking out, like, look around. "Yeah, it's cold, but I like that." And then I'm shivering like it's cold. "What am I, trapped?" Like, grab some invisible bars. "Heart's beating out of my chest." Made like a heartbeat gesture. "Door's locked, but the keys are in my hands." I had my key to my dorm room in my pocket, which I just pulled out. So I didn't even know what to do after those first 5 verses because I knew the whole song, but I didn't have any motions planned for it. So I just thought back to the music video of NF performing this song. I basically just started mimicking everything that NF was doing. At that point, I had gotten super into this song because this song, like, had gotten me through a rough time, and not only did I know all the lyrics, but I related to it, and I knew the meaning behind every word, and that added, like, so much more emotion to it. It's like emotion that I had, but I didn't even know was there. And I start going faster as I pace around in this invisible cell, and I start, like, remembering the lyrics. They just come to my head, like, really clearly. The next thing I knew, like, I was rapping this song. I wasn't planning on rapping it. I was just going to recite the lyrics, but, like, I was rapping. I got through, like, the entire, like, first bar of this song before the director just says, like, "Okay, stop." I'm just standing there, like, kind of stunned, like, what did I just do? And he says, like, "I'll get back to you, and I'll let you know, like, if you got a part, I'll send you an email, like, later today." So we walk out, and my crush was actually pretty impressed with the audition. And I had to admit to myself that, like, that was actually a good audition. And having basically spent years telling myself that I could not act, I realized that, like, I could act. A few hours later, I get an email, and what do you know? I got the second biggest part in that play. I was really scared that, like, on the first performance I'd just, like, walk onto the stage and, like, somehow manage to trip on a wire and just faceplant in front of everyone. It was fine. I think it was a great performance. Everyone was really confused as to, like, what happened, like, how I ended up going from the reclusive Minecraft kid to like being in a Christmas play voluntarily. And honestly, looking back on it, like I completely believe that this whole thing happened because God was working in my life and God didn't want me to be stuck as being the reclusive Minecraft kid. And all of those events were there to help me become the person that I wanted to be. I have done more plays since then, and I love theater. I would call myself a theater kid, and I'll be doing theater for the rest of my college career, maybe the rest of my life. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching, and don't forget, follow your dreams.